Hey everyone, and welcome back to Salesforce Mojo. I have a really exciting video for us today. We're going to be talking about the Winter 24 release. We did this last time, and we had a lot of great engagement on this video, so I'm going to try to keep this up every release just to give the top 6 highlights that I see, and I see that as the most valuable and important moving forward. I have a really special guest joining me here today. We have Nick Clark joining us from Salesforce. Nick, could you just say a quick hello and give us a quick background on what you do at Salesforce?
Absolutely. Thank you, Shane. Hi, everyone. My name is Nick Clark. I'm a senior product manager here at Salesforce, and I focus on our Commerce on Core storefronts, everything from our developer experience all the way through to the end user experience when you're trying to build your commerce stores.
Fantastic. Yeah, me and Nick have been working together over the last couple of months through these releases, especially as we've been getting Lightning Web Runtime up to speed. So he's been fantastic to work with from the partner perspective. So I really appreciate you taking the time and coming and joining us for some of the awesome updates your team is working on.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to be here and chat with you about these new features.
Fantastic. Well, let's jump right into it. So we have 6 really awesome features we're going to go through. I'm going to quick hit a highlight on what we're going to be talking about, and then we'll kind of do a deep dive and even sprinkle in some demos as we get into it. So number 1 here is checkout components. Now, if you've been watching my video for the last couple of months now, you probably have seen a ton of checkout stuff, especially around LWR. Well, that is changing just a little bit again. We're still on LWR, but we're getting a little more flexible components in checkout. So I won't give you all of it right now, but when we get into that, you'll see a little bit about what's changing and how that's going to help us moving forward. Number 2 here is we're going to be talking about product descriptions with Einstein. So if you watched Dreamforce or have seen some of the releases afterwards, you've probably seen a ton about ChatGPT and some of the enhancements we're making with Einstein for that section. And Commerce is definitely getting a lot of this. So we'll be talking about that. Number 3 here is flexibility with CSS classes inside of our components, both standard and custom. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about supporting larger carts, which if you're working with enterprise customers, you'll probably want to stay tuned for that section. And then faster add to cart, so just quality of life of making everything just a little bit faster there. And to wrap it up on the faster note, we're going to be talking about easy commerce setup with some of the enhancements to reduce clicks. So with that, we're going to jump straight into it. Nick, why don't you get us kicked off with a quick overview and what we need to know on the checkout component section?
Absolutely. Yeah, this is really an exciting area. Checkout's probably one of the most customized parts of an e-commerce website. Everybody has custom requirements and custom needs for their own businesses. So what we've done at this point is taken the existing checkout flows that we built over the last couple of releases in LWR, which is all builder-based checkout instead of having to go through the more complex flow from the Aura days. And we've broken the components down into 14 separate components across the board, all much more granular so that you can drag and drop in and out pieces that you need and leave the ones that you don't out of the way type thing. So this includes everything from having multiple different layouts available. Both the accordion and one-page layout can be set up, along with different payment options and capturing your contact information or shipping details. Again, everything's just a little bit more granular as you're trying to build things out, and we'll show that in a demo here pretty shortly, just to make it much easier for you to customize those checkout pages.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And at the end of the day, it's like you mentioned, it's going to have a little more flexibility than what we even have on LWR today. There is going to be some changes that will be required if you already have custom components and need to migrate over to this next iteration of checkout. I will have a separate video on what that looks like. It's not going to be a massive rewrite. It's just kind of a difference of how we actually tie into the checkout container and the APIs there. So that will come in the following weeks here. If you have any questions on that, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I'll try to triage those as much as possible in the in between time from this video and when I actually do that one. But at the end of the day, awesome updates here. So with that kind of overview, why don't we jump straight into an instance real quick, and let's take a look at what this looks like.
Absolutely, Shane. Let's jump in here to my checkout page. Okay, so here you'll see the standard checkout page. Right now I still have, because I have not made any changes to this site, the now legacy checkout component. So inside of this component, we did have some customization options. You could choose one-page recording layout, and we had a few different components, like shipping was one large component, that kind of thing. I'm going to remove this completely from my checkout page here, because now inside of the component screen, there is two separate layouts. One is the accordion or the one page. I'm just going to go with the one page layout here. So you can see with this new checkout layout, you're still getting all the individual components that you need all at the same time. They're all being dragged on together, so you don't have to drag on the individual pieces. But as we hover our way through this, you'll see that there's many more components in total. A lot of granular options, such as there's action buttons the whole way along that allow you to modify or customize this checkout layout as you see fit. As I mentioned earlier, there's about 14 new components in total in here that you're able to use if you really want to change anything. So say you wanted to expand the contact information to grab additional pieces. All you would have to do is remove this particular component and then also drag in just that section. You're not having to drag in and replace the entire checkout experience. You're only having to replace the individual pieces that you're wanting to change.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And just like little details like, now we have the action button on the top right says change. We can change that to something else. Before that was, a little more limited on how it looked like, what it looked like. So that's fantastic. The other thing that I thought was pretty sweet is that you can actually drag in the place order button separately now and have more control over the look and feel. If I remember correctly, there's even like a sticky component that you guys released as part of this update that allows you to kind of keep that place order at the bottom or wherever you want it.
Absolutely. So you could keep the place order over on the sidebar here underneath the summary if you really wanted to. And as I drag that in there, if I was to preview the site, that particular button will stick where you leave it, right?
Yep, absolutely. That's fantastic. I mean, just the composability of this is going to add a lot of flexibility for users as they go through the development here. It's not going to remove the need to have to customize if you're your customer or if your company needs to, but it will allow you to customize less and have more impact on what you actually customize from my point of view.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to be going into this in more detail in a separate video, as I mentioned, going through and making some updates to some of the components we've done on past videos to talk about how to hook into this new framework here. So stay tuned for that. I'll make sure I get that released here in the next couple of weeks. Okay, so moving right along here, we just saw an awesome stuff in checkout here. Commerce AI innovations was huge, and actually just AI innovations in general, and Dreamforce was huge. A lot of different announcements on this. Inside of Commerce Cloud, we have 5 that were announced. One of them is GA now. It is the generating product descriptions, and we're going to show just a little bit about that here in a moment. But there are 4 other ones that are coming here, either in pilot or in beta in the coming months. This just shows the emphasis that Salesforce is having on the AI innovation. When I was at Dreamforce, I had a couple of talks out there about just commerce and AI in general. I'll link those in the description so you can take a look at what that actually looks like, because we go into more depth on every single one of these. But the kind of the intention here is to make the merchandiser's experience, so that's the backend user, basically the persona we've been dealing with in this channel for a bit, make their lives that much easier and faster. And then on the external customer's perspective, how do we make their experience better, faster, and more intuitive so that they can move through checkout more seamlessly, get their questions answered quicker, such as the "Where's my order" experience on the right-hand side here. So ton of awesome innovation coming in this area.
So moving on, Shane, let's talk about the CSS classes. Now, this isn't a commerce specific feature set. This is something that affects all Experience Cloud sites, all, let me clarify, LWR Experience Cloud sites. But it has huge impacts for the customization ability of any commerce site that you're trying to build. I'll get into a very fast demo here in just a moment to show you the power of this additional functionality for something that's so simple. But really, at the end of the day, having the ability to assign a CSS class to any section or component inside of the site is what this is all about. And it just opens up a world of new opportunities without having to go into the full custom website flows of like installing SSDX and all those types of things.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know, as a consultant, I spend a lot of time customizing these commerce sites to make them look like the brand. So what I hear you saying here, and the audience is going to see it in a moment here, is that I can get more specific and better branded sites easier and quicker, even with standard components.
Absolutely. And even very simple things like what I'm going to show you here is something that people have been asking us for a long time, as even just being able to do like a full width section on a site. So there's a lot of commerce sites out there. They like to have sections that go back and forth. Like one is full width with a nice, beautiful banner that's branded, and then the next section is tighten in a little bit to make it easier to read, because it's not as easy to read a full width website, right? So you can, using this functionality, you can take and make a full width banner or a full width section on your sites very quickly and easily. Things like that.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Okay. Well, let's not delay it anymore. Let's get right into the demo.
Okay, let's take a quick look at my homepage here. So what I want to do is have my banner that's currently the same width as the rest of my site be full width and stretch clear across. And I want to be able to do that with any section on the site, not just this banner section, but how can I do that and specify just those individual sections without having to build a custom component? Well, now, if you're using an LWR enhanced site, you'll find this new style tab. In here, there's a couple of different things. One is some layout functionality. So if you want to add margin or padding to a particular component itself, you can do that from here instead of having to target it with the CSS. But also, there's now this new custom CSS section. And what this allows you to do is define custom classes. And we've also made a call out here to where you can edit your CSS. So you click that, it's going to open up the head markup into a modal. And you'll be able to see, for example, that I've added a couple of full width styles here. So if I close this modal out, okay, once I've closed that modal out, I can just add the class that I defined first, which was full width section. And as soon as I apply that class, you'll see that I'm getting a true full width section that, regardless of the size of my screen, on this particular page, it's going to stretch that image out to the full size of my website. And of course, because I've added that CSS in there, I can also further define, say, the height of these sections so that they have a specified minimum height. And it only impacts that one section that I applied it to. So if I have this other section down here with my quick order and some marketing materials and another banner, and then say I wanted my next section below that to also be full width and kind of have like a parallax type experience, you can now do those types of things with some Very simple CSS, as well as just defining the styles on the individual sections or components. This is available on any components inside of the tool. So even if you wanted to make a change to the quick order, you can now define a custom class for it, allowing you to target it a lot easier. And you know that those styles will always stay consistent and applied to those particular components that you've created. So you don't have to worry about any forward-looking changes that happens to the DOM or anything like that affecting those.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know I did a video a couple of months back on how to style your storefront, and I mentioned in there the risks of actually doing CSS targeting on your site because of the fact you just mentioned. Things could change in the future, and you really have no certainty that targeting is going to always be the same. And also across your site, you have to be very narrow in how you target that. But this update here eliminates all of that risk, right? You can just put your CSS in there, make sure it's applied to the specific components, and you can really make your site look however you want. So if you're a front-end developer, you're going to absolutely love this update because it will make making those updates so much easier. Okay, so we're just going to cover the last three here pretty quickly, and if you have any more specific questions on these, feel free to add them in the comments. We're not going to do a full demo for this, but we'll talk about a high level because I think they're pretty powerful. Number one is supporting larger carts. So for enterprise customers or customers who have tons of items that get added to a cart at once, currently you may be running into some limitations. Well, those have been expanded now with this latest Winter 24 release. You can now add 2,000 line items in a cart at once, which is fantastic. Will definitely give us the flexibility we need. The next one is faster add to cart. So if you're setting up a new site, once Winter 24 is released, this is going to be automatically turned on. But if you have a current site, you will be able to navigate over to the administration section, and there's a new section underneath it called Performance. And if you open up Performance, there's going to be a little card in there called Faster Add to Cart. And what this will do is it will actually improve the responsiveness time of the product detail page when you've created or when you've actually clicked that Add to Cart button. It makes it all asynchronous, so instead of it waiting for everything to complete, it basically fires the request off, says you're good to go on the front end, and then takes that moment or two it normally does to process on the back end. And this really improves the customer's experience just because it makes that clicking that much more dynamic and quicker. So two really cool enhancements that I'm excited about. The next one here is something I'll let Nick cover.
Thanks, Shane. What we're really focused on right now is trying to make the time from when you first create your site to when you're going live, trying to reduce that time significantly. At the moment, our goal is that you can go live in 30 minutes and take orders in 30 days. So we're on a road to get there. Not there yet, but we're making a significant journey there. So you can think of this like having an intelligent sidebar when you're going through the setup process that contains your to-do list. It's going to give you some initial tasks, and it's going to continue populating those based on what the current state of your org is. And as you knock out those different tasks, the list will update and can give you new tasks. And really, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is reduce the number of clicks that marketer user who's in the back end is taking to get that site set up. So right now, it's something like 2,000 clicks. We're trying to get that below 200. So that's going to be a massive boost to the time it takes you to get your site set up.
So Nick, that's fantastic. I mean, like the people that watch this video, they're a mix of consultants and customers. So they will vary kind of on how much they're in the weeds or not. But I know as a consultant myself, I'm super excited about that. It'll save my hands from getting arthritis, I think, at some point, which will be really good. And I just want to make sure I clarify for the audience here, and you can definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but that does not remove the customization capability here. So it's really the initial up to speed on getting everything in there. But then if you need to go back and make some changes to something that was, initially set up using, this easy commerce setup, you can definitely do that. So it's by no means taking away from that, just making it faster to initially get up and running. Is that how you take it as well?
That's exactly right. So what we're looking to do is just make it easier for you to get your initial setup done and at the door, but we're not removing any of the advanced capabilities that you come to expect from a Salesforce org. So if you want to customize your site however you want, you'll still be able to go back and make those changes and do that. We're just trying to streamline the whole initial setup process so you can do it all in one place, and you're not going to multiple different sections of the org and many different pages and clicks.
Awesome. That is great to hear. I'm sure everyone on the watching the video right now is going to love that. Well, that's the overview today. We have 6 awesome features, and there's actually a ton more as well. I'm going to put a link into the release, into the comments here for the release notes, so everyone can access that easy. But there's a ton of rich features that are coming in the next release, which is going to be coming out in a few short weeks. So put any comments you have for questions in there. I just want to give Nick a shout out here. Really appreciate you joining us, and looking forward to doing many more of these in the future with you. And we really appreciate all the hard work you're putting into Commerce Cloud.
Thank you for having me, Shane. I really enjoyed meeting with you here today, and I look forward to doing some more down the future.